What's the most disturbing thing somebody did because they had a crush on you? Married me. Wrote erotica about me in which I said stop, I'm only 16. He was in his mid-20s at the time. This is creepy if you were 16, and creepy if you weren't. Sent me pictures of her cutting herself after she found out I had a girlfriend. This has happened to me too. I really hope she's doing okay. He broke into my cousin's house and stole my guinea pig to feed to a snake, because I wouldn't break up with my boyfriend to date him. Walked a good 5 miles with me because she was going my way. I was almost home before I found out she lived 30 seconds from the pub I met her in. She said she'd have to stay at mine as it wasn't safe for her to walk home alone. I ended up having explained that I wasn't attracted to her, and had to call her a taxi home and pay for it. One of my brother's friends tried to impress a girl by shoving his whole hand down his throat. They stole my hat and refused to give it back because it smelled like me. Wrote a love letter in blood. Somehow the teacher got hold of it, and then the whole school found out. This was a while ago in high school, so I don't know if can really fault him for being dumbass, but he told everyone we knew that I was his dream girl, and that we were going to get married. He actively sought out rumors about who I was crushing on or who was crushing on me or just any guy who would talk to me and tell them to please let him have a chance and to not ask me out. Weirdest thing was I didn't even really talk to him, didn't even know his last name, just said hi during calculus every morning. Paid someone to attack me so they could rescue me. Didn't work. Hit the attacker with a book bag, pinned him down. He started yelling that he had been paid to do it just as the other guy showed up. On my way home from work. He knew my schedule, and I took the bus. I was a 19-year-old at the time, waitress, and a 49-year-old man that I'd served tried to connect with me through the missed connections page on Craigslist. He then came to my work and professed his love for me in a Christmas card that ironically had a cartoon of Santa being kicked in the balls by a child, with the caption "Stranger Danger." In his note, he said he wasn't sure if I'd be interested in an older man, and he had a wife and children, so we'd have to find a way around that little detail. I didn't feel safe at work, so I had the police intervene and tell him not to bother me again. Proposed marriage so aggressively he had to be escorted off the premises, then later broke the lock off my dorm room, and tried to get into bed with me. I remember this event so clearly. This happened in first grade in school. The class was sitting on the ground for story time. A girl named F, wearing a purple dress and white stockings, sits down next to me. Then as the teacher begins reading, I feel her bite me. Bite my heart on my shoulder. I scream out in pain and begin to cry. Teacher looks up confused. I say that F bit me. Girl looks confused and says, "But I like you, that's why I bit you." Needless to say, I didn't like her after that. Funny thing was, I did think she looked cute that day. After the bite though, I made sure to keep my distance from her. Edit. I just remembered something else she did before the bite. She once walked up to me randomly and started scratching my back. Like just wildly down my back like a raptor trying to claw something. That's when I began to think she was weird. I came home from high school, and the said college-age crusher was sitting on the sofa chatting with my family. WTF. I only went on 2 very platonic dates with him. I was only friendly, but he had way more in mind. He actually asked my parents if he could marry me because I was such a virginal angel. Needless to say, I never spoke to this guy again, though repeated texts and calls. Goodbye and good riddance. Geez. Found out he had been telling my coworkers that we had been dating for weeks, when in reality I had never spoken to the dude in my life. Found out when I was asked about my crazy weekend with my boyfriend when I am, in fact, single as Snapped my bra strap to get my attention. A classmate of mine who I barely talked to came up to me on Valentine's Day, and handed me chocolates and huge-ass teddy bear with my name sewn into it. A bit weird, but I was appreciative of their gift. However, the worst part is that they handed me a drawing of me leaning on a motorcycle in very revealing clothes that looked kinky as hell, keep in mind that my fashion is quite conservative, and then proceeded to loudly recite a 2-page long love poem in public, while I was with my friends. The poem referred to me as his princess, love of his life, etc. I rejected him and never spoke to him again.